Welcome back to the Gatherer's Gallery. We've got Henry here in the kitchen.
Hello.
He's going to talk us through the recipes. And we've got two great reds, both coming in at about £10.50 a bottle. We are in South Africa and we're in Puglia in southern Italy. The first wine that we're going to try today is the Bainskloof Merlot. Central South Africa, inland, fairly hot there, but cool nights. I guess fresh raspberries perhaps on the nose, maybe some blueberries. It's not a massive new world wine. It's got a nice balance with the acidity and a little bit of spice in there, and I think that's going to work really well with the pot roast chicken and chorizo dish.
Super simple. So, we've got a beautiful, super free range chicken from Longland Farm down in Kent. We're just browning that off in a little butter in the pan, a little bit of olive oil as well, just to stop the butter from burning if the pan gets too hot. And that's kind of a 15-minute job, okay? So just give it a little bit of love, turn the chicken, get some colour on the breast, and once you've got some colour on the breast, you can just grab it by the cavity, you can turn it over, you can see we've got some colour here, that's going to be nice once we roast it. So then we've got our heavy bottom pan that we're going to finish all the cooking in the oven. So we've got that on a heat, we've got some cooking chorizo here, we're going to fry that off in some olive oil. And what we're looking for there is for it to release some of the oils. So there's some beautiful spice in there, smoked paprika, different bits and bobs. So we want some of that. I can already smell. We've got these pink pearl potatoes here. New potatoes would be fine. You could parboil any kind of cooking potato that you have. So we're going to get that in with the chorizo. You can see the colour bleeding onto those potatoes. That's all that smoked paprika and bits coming out of the chorizo there. As we're turning and colouring that chicken, we're putting a little bit of salt and pepper on there too. I've got a lemon here that I've cut in half. I'm going to pop that lemon inside the cavity. That's going to help season the chicken with some flavour from the inside. We've got a bunch of thyme there. Here we've got a whole head of garlic that we've just taken the skins off the cloves. They're going to go in whole. Quite a rustic dish really. So this is a red sweet vermouth wine. Yeah. So we're going to add a little dash of this.
So the white vermouth is working really well.
And we're just going to let that reduce down super quick. You can hear that bubbling away and you can probably see it too. So the vermouth is reduced down. We're going to add a little bit of good chicken stock. Again, just to give us enough liquid in there so that nothing dries out. And then our chicken's ready to go in. That's going to go in a fairly low oven at about 160 for a fan oven, 170, 180 for a conventional, for an hour and 15 minutes. And then that's going to be cooked through, the chicken will be super juicy, it's going to be fantastic.
Our chicken has come out of the pot.
The idea of the concept of this cooking method is to keep all of the flavours and all of the moisture inside the pot. So any moisture that comes off the chicken circulates and goes back into the cooking process to keep it extra moist and also to contain all that flavour inside the cooking pot, which is great.
And that's a perfect midweek supper. Pot roast chicken, chorizo potatoes, Bainskloof Merlot.
Delicious.
And, we've chosen the Mucchietto Primitivo to pair with a fantastic spaghetti dish with sardines, sultanas, chilli, parsley, garlic. Bit of a challenge again for the wine, but Primitivo, as I'm sure many of you know, is the same as Zinfandel, but possibly marginally different in that it's grown in Puglia rather than California. But Zinfandel, Primitivo, very similar styles of wine, same grape in theory. Lovely spice in it, good acidity, a sweetness perhaps, and it's gonna be definitely in a bit of a fight here with the spaghetti and sardines, but I think Henry will make it work.
There's some magic.
I've got the spaghetti on, we're going to cook this in real time. So that's just in salted boiling water. That's going to take a couple more minutes. In the meantime, we're going to get the rest of this done. It's going to cook quite quickly, almost like a stir fry, I guess. A bit of a mix of ingredients. So we've got diced fennel, garlic and red chilli, which is kind of typical Italian flavours. We've got some sultanas that we're soaking in the wine itself, that we're drinking it with. And then we've got the sardines as well. So we're just going to fry off our fennel with our garlic and our chilli. And we just want to soften that down a little bit in some nice olive oil.
what that'll do towards the end of the cooking process, when we add the pasta water, it's going to emulsify and just create that sort of rich sauce that we want with our pasta dish. Okay, so we're going to cook that down. We've got some really great quality tin sardines here in a great quality oil. So these are sort of whole fish fillet, but they're on the bone. So you can eat all these tiny bones that are in here, but there's just one sort of backbone that runs through it that you can really easily pick out. It's very obvious where it is. Our sardines are filleted nicely, so those are the pieces we're going to stir through towards the end of the cooking process. So our fennel, chilli and garlic is coming up nicely. It's just softening down a little bit. We want a little bit of crunch from that fennel. We don't want it to be too soft, so we're going to keep it as is. We're going to add the sultanas with the wine, the little bit of wine that we're steeping them in. That's cooking down. We're going to add our sardines, and we're just going to go a little bit more carefully with moving it around now, because we don't want to break those up too much. And then we're going to add our spaghetti to the sauce. Mai's got the world's longest spaghetti for us. And we're just going to mix that through our spaghetti. And just to finish that off, we've got our fennel fronds, roughly chopped up. Smell that sardine. And then we're going to finish this with a sprinkling of poor man's parmesan, which are breadcrumbs which we've toasted with a little bit of fennel seed.
The pasta, here we are, the spaghetti with sardines, chili, parsley, sultanas, a typical Mafia Don style portion there. It almost feels like an Asian noodle dish with the sweetness and the heat and the savoury notes. And those things work really well with this wine because it's got sweetness, spice, acidity. That is a marriage made in heaven.